Welcome to Sober.Coffee, a weekly coffee chat sharing experience, strength, and hope for anyone on the sober road to recovery. You can download Sober.Coffee weekly on all podcast platforms and check us out on Instagram at Sober.Coffee Podcast and on Twitter at Sober.Coffee Pod. To learn more about us and to help support these sessions, visit online at Sober.Coffee. Here are your hosts, two guys on their own path to recovery, Mike and Glenn. Let's join them at the coffee shop.
Two guys, three guys, whatever.
What's up, my brother?
Two guys, three guys.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. So, what's so funny is we kind of meet in the parking lot. So everybody at this point knows that we record on Saturday mornings.
Like five episodes, six episodes.
So I get here early. Brian's already here. The engineer. I think he sleeps here. I think he lives here. So, but anyway, we get here and then. Maybe chit chat for a second in the parking lot. Brian's down letting us in. We come up and all of a sudden we're like going live. It's like, where's the preparation, Glenn?
Well, we used to prepare.
We did.
I'm telling you, some of our best shit is in the parking lot.
I know, right?
and we always say we should hot mic ourselves.
Hot mic, yeah.
We should hot mic.
People have gotten in trouble for that, though. saying something at a urinal.
Yeah.
At a golf tournament.
No, I totally get it. But
yeah.
No, man, I'm so excited for today. Couldn't even believe it.
Well, it's been a while since we've been in, so I know people.
Well, we did the mobile thing.
Yeah, that was fun.
We're just wrapping
that up. That was really good. You had some good guests on.
Yeah,
that was good. Doing a retreat. I hope people do retreats. Whatever your take is.
It's awesome, man. So what's happening today? It's funny. We used to prepare.
Yeah, we did.
In fact, when we first sat down,
piece of paper in front of me.
So do I. When we first started, right, we looked at each other like, "Hey, let's start a podcast." You're like, "What's a podcast?" And I'm like,
"I know, right?
We'll figure it out."
Know.
Right? And we're like, "Well,
I still don't know.
What are we going to talk about?" Right?
I still don't know.
Well, you tell your story. That's one episode. I'll tell my story. That's the second episode. Hey, there's 12 steps, right? There's 12 more episodes,
Boom.
right? So that's what literally got it started. Now that's 230 or 250 episodes with bonuses.
So
and
April 7th, 2021. That was our first drop. Yeah,
so by the time this drops, that's 4.5 years ago.
No, right? Isn't that
crazy? And we've never missed.
Well, we've had instances where I overslept and then I had to zoom in. Remember that?
No. We've never missed a drop.
Yeah, right.
We've never missed a drop, and we're in the top 10% of podcasts. The only reason, because we keep dropping episodes.
That's right. And because
it has
my
nothing
mom
to do with
keeps
content.
listening.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with content.
Thank you, Mom. Ding, ding, ding.
All right, so what's happening today, man?
So
we
got
figure
table
things
for
out,
three.
right?
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. So I'm going to back this up here a little bit. So, you go to meetings, and you go to meetings. I've been to meetings all around the country, right? And for those that have never been to an AA meeting, like when you want to speak, you kind of introduce yourself and you say, "Hi, I'm Mike. I'm an alcoholic." But first of all, I'm admitting that I'm an alcoholic. That is very cathartic, and it's a reminder I need to hear every day. It's the first step. It's the most important step, and I need to remind myself that I am an alcoholic. I just can't drink like regular people. So anyway, then people will respond in chorus, "Hey, Mike," which is nice, right? And now you say, "I'm Glenn. I'm an alcoholic." Everyone says, "Hey, Glenn, how you doing?" Right? Then you got Joe. So we got a table for three this morning. We got Joe.
Big Joe.
I don't know how this happened, but it's not like, "Hi, I'm Joe, I'm an alcoholic," and everyone goes, "Hi, Joe." He says, "Hi, I'm Joe, I'm an alcoholic."
It's like, Joe!
And the whole room does Joe. How did that start, Joe? How did that even start? Because I went to Sunday morning meetings. Patrick chaired them, and all of a sudden it started happening. I must have missed the Sunday. What was the beginning of that?
Yeah. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here.
Yeah, that's a great question, Mike. Yeah, I don't know necessarily how that all started.
Did you ask for it?
I know.
No,
I know how it started.
I really don't.
I'll tell you how it started.
Okay, Were you at the meeting?
Absolutely. No, but I know.
Okay.
So Joe is. I'm telling you, Joe was there when I came in. Yeah. Joe
1935.
Joe is one of the people I actually look up to. Now, when we're done with these episodes, you'll understand why the fuck do you look up to him, right? But I do. I really do. He's amazing. He's been so cool for my journey. He's been a rock. He's in my foundation. It's Big Joe. That's how he is in my phone. But Joe's got a personality about him. That's just, maybe grandiose, maybe it's just full of life.
It's big.
It's big Joe, right?
right,
Full of life, right?
Large in stature too, but
Yeah, and I mean, he's just Joe, right? And so he really engages with people. He really puts himself out and into people, and connects and loves and most of AA, most of life, people in life, they're like, hey, ask about me, ask about let me talk. And Joe gives you a chance to talk about yourself. He'll come up and ask questions. So
interject.
Yeah.
7 years ago, there's a Sunday morning meeting at Mokina Fellowship, which we all attend. And it's big. And by big, I mean, 30, 40, 50 people, right?
It's big.
And as our friend Dr. John likes to call it, it's a kumbaya meeting, right? It's like...
which he hates.
Oh, he hates kumbaya meetings.
Right.
But it's just a feel-good meeting. I mean, because there's so many people aren't going into the weeds about their problems. It tends to be, the topic tends to be gratefulness, thankfulness, right? Anyway...
Yeah.
I went there the first time, and I'm not saying this to blow smoke up your ass, but there was two people
But get ready.
cornered me out at that first meeting, and it was Patrick and you. And both of you welcomed me to that meeting, and then I experienced the meeting, and I remember writing in my journal, and hey, journaling isn't just for chicks. I wrote in my journal, this is a great meeting, I need to come back to this one, and I've hardly missed the Sunday morning meetings. But, yeah, to your point, Glenn, Joe, you do put yourself out there. You really do.
I appreciate that.
Probably little ways. You probably don't remember it. But
and you're right. Both you guys I do remember back when we started. And we did all start, together for the most part. And, looking back at it, like you say, I mean, you guys, that meeting is, and I think that might be part of the reason why we've done. Well, we've stayed sober.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That meeting does.
We don't do it alone.
Yeah, no. Well, that I mean, and it is welcoming, and it is. Yeah. You look at the group, and it's changed too in a bit now.
Sure.
I mean, it's gotten a lot younger. Us as the older,
older stage.
Joe, you've gotten older.
Yeah. Well, I think
the average age would say the same. You've just gotten older.
Well, yeah, I suppose it
13
has.
13 years. You got 13 years, right?
Well, no, I'm coming up on 12.
12?
Yep, coming up on 12.
Yeah, don't rush it.
Yeah, but I look at it, and the meeting is great, and again, it's like you look at like us, like we connected, all of us. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think makes Mokina so special is there are so many connections and friendships.
Yeah.
People think like, I'm going to go to AA, and it's like I'm not going to know anybody, and it's going to be hard, and I got to go to this thing, and I don't have any friends there, and that's not the way. I mean,
it's not.
And I think that's part of the allure and part of the greatness of Mokina is it's very welcoming, and it does it does make you feel. Let's face it, guys. We all know that the hardest part about a meeting is the first time you walk through the door.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And again, we all hated that. That was the worst. Is going, especially people that go by themselves and don't have somebody to take them.
Tell me about your
probably
first meeting.
That's probably the hardest move.
Without a doubt.
Tell me about your first meeting.
Well, question. So Joe.
Yeah.
You had to have had a meeting before this, but I remember. I think the first retreat I was at, the year before, like we go to an annual retreat, and
just great.
Like the year before, I think like you were, I don't know, 22 minutes sober. Like you're actually still drunk.
Right.
I think. Right?
Yeah.
You were hurting, and guys were loving on you, and but you had been to AA before that, right?
I had, and let's face it, like everybody, I was thinking, AA. Why do people not like AA? Why does AA not work? Well, let's face it. It's because I think for a lot of people they're not ready to quit drinking.
Right. Right.
And again, and nothing is going to work if you're not ready to quit drinking. Right. And you're right. And I had spent countless hours and countless just finances and just everything that goes into it, trying to figure out, okay, hey man, how do I straighten my life out? What is going on here without really looking at the fact that maybe alcohol's the issue here. Maybe you know what I mean. Like
maybe.
if I was to take that little factor out of my life, wow, how things would change. But let's face it, maybe I didn't want to. Maybe I wasn't ready to give up my best friend.
I
just was hanging on to it by every last thread, and just like, there's got to be a way I could still have my buddy and still be able to kind of, navigate life. And let's face it, it just didn't work that way. And
I love the way you put that, my buddy.
I mean, it just was.
Yeah, right.
So
you decide to go. Tell me about your first meeting.
So I remember actually a good friend of mine. His name's Joe, and
what are the odds?
Yeah,
Little Joe.
Yeah, Little Joe, and you guys know him, and he, and again, I looked to him, right? So he was like my guy that I saw that managed to find the rooms and find, peace and tranquility in his life, and managed to kind of get his life back on track. So he was my mentor, and he had tried for years to kind of get me to adopt the way of life, and I wouldn't, and I fought it, and he was the first one to kind of take me in and kind of introduce me to people. And ironically enough, it was a group in Palos, which is called The Way of Life. And that's where I first started going. I was living at home, all the great things. I was living with my parents. We had just sold a house. I was, married with young children, and again, marriage was struggling.
Sure. Because of alcohol.
Right. All the factors that go into it.
And now look, we're sober and our marriages aren't struggling.
They're perfect.
Right. Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, just like everything, just like work, just like it all takes work. But I'll tell you, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to do this shit sober. So, but yeah, I mean, he brought me in, and I remember, my wife, you got to call him. And my wife was my biggest advocate for me, and I know that she wanted it, maybe for selfish reasons too.
Well, sure.
She wanted me
no,
to
but
be
they want it for us too.
They do,
right.
they do.
Right.
And I had young children, and she knew that. I mean, come on, man. I mean, this is the man you're supposed to be.
Right.
This is the man you are. Let's get to that point. And and again, it's just so we reached out, and he took me to, some meetings, and again, and I would try and string a couple days together here and there. And it just, it just, and
what made you want it then? What flipped in you that you woke up or in the middle of the day said, all right, I want it?
Well, I think the deciding factor for me, I think, that actually got me over that hump, right? So I think the most I had done was about 6 months.
Okay.
And then I would fall
off the rails, right?
And I think what kind of got, I mean, I had alienated myself, and I was, let's say, at that point now, I was in such full stride of my alcoholism that, let's face it, my family didn't want anything to do with me. Mm-hmm. My friends didn't want anything to do with me, and I was stuck living in an apartment by myself. And
sounds like your finances were in check.
Well, I mean, they absolutely, and it was like the perfect storm, and I just looked, and I was continuing to drink and manage, and I was by myself. I remember being never lonelier, and I just had said, like, I don't want to be this guy. And originally, I think I did it for, for other reasons. I did it, I'm like, all right, I want to get, I want to straighten things out with my wife. I want to
fix things. Yeah,
I want to be in my kids' lives.
Yeah, right.
And let's face it, it's like, at that point, I was anything but that, and then it dawned on me. I don't know what the turning point was, but I remember after getting like that 6 months, it was like you're like on that honeymoon phase.
Yeah, right, sure.
That just like I felt great. I was like, and I was at peace with myself with just where I was at. I just was so happy to be sober.
Yeah.
And so happy to kind of have the crutch off my back, and again, to our point earlier, I think Mokina was a big factor in that, because then, you know, I kind of got involved at Mokina. I made it a staple. I started to, you know, like we all say, do the 90-90. I got into a routine there.
90 days, right?
I met guys like Glenn, like yourself, like, you know, Ryan. I met guys that were there, and we all had similar stories and similar backgrounds, and it just, you know, and again, I think what made it easy too was you got to put yourself out. You got to be willing to meet and to, you know, keep somewhat of an open mind, and I did, and I met some good friends and developed some good friendships, and I think that was instrumental in kind of me staying after that 6-month hurdle.
Yeah.
And
you know what's amazing? What really jumped out at me in that share there was that you know, I could see it. Your face changed when you said, "I wanted a relationship with my kids." And I know I've been to enough meetings with you to know that you have a relationship with your kids now. So what you really wanted, that promise that you really were striving for, came through. And it's funny, I say the same thing. You know, I wanted a relationship with my kids, you know, and they were a little bit older. But I don't know that they wanted a relationship with me, right? But now they do. Now they do, because of all the reasons. I'm just that, like you said, I'm the guy I'm supposed to be, flawed, but the guy I'm supposed to be, as opposed to the guy I was, which was shallow and hollow.
Yeah. I had a chance to talk to a guy on a plane this week, and you know, I was just kind of, and I don't talk to anybody. It's kind of, we should do a whole session on that, but. I don't talk to anybody on planes, and he said he doesn't, and he's a high-level executive with this big company and major job, and he's like, I just think we were meant to talk today, right? Blackout drunk every night.
Oh, this guy, really?
Yeah, trying to function during the day, and so I was just telling my story, and, you know, it was really, and he's like, I don't get it, man. I can make such great decisions at work, and yet I can't make the decision with booze. I'm like, dude, you're using two different parts of your brain. You know, your work decisions are in your frontal cortex, right? That's the logic. That's the, you know, A plus B equals C, right? I said, the drinking thing's a croc brain, right? That's your inner croc, you know, caveman brain. That's fight or flight, you know? Uses booze as survival. When you get into a stressful situation, your nervous system gets in a panic mode and views. You know, you talk about your buddy, you know, I mean, you know, your inner croc brain looks at booze as a savior, like you will live if you drink booze, right? So we were talking about that, but I was sharing a story, and Joe, when you were chatting, and I love just sitting here and listen to you. But I was sharing with him, I said, you know, with my kids, I wanted a relationship with my daughter. You know, my frontal cortex says, I want to be a good dad. I want to be there. I want to be dad of the year, you know, all that bullshit. And yet, every time I had a chance, I picked booze. Every time.
That's interesting,
And every single time. And I didn't really notice it for a couple of years. And then it became very aware that I picked booze over them, and that just crushed my soul. I mean, it really did.
See, I never came to that realization.
Like, Glenn, stop lying to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you don't give a rip about them. You just want to get your next cocktail. You just want to keep the buzz going.
You make that sound so sexy, a cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like there's a straw umbrella or something in it.
It's cocktail. It's like when I grew up. You had a
You're
cocktail
drinking
bar
out of the bottle, dude.
You know, no, but growing up, right, they had the little cocktail sign with a little sticker, little martini glass.
Well, that's how it starts out.
That's right.
Then it's the brown bag and the bottle, right?
Exactly.
It all starts out with this real, beautiful looking drink.
Oh my God!
sexy.
Well, it's like the magazine ads.
Yeah, exactly. Sitting at this high-end bar. Yeah, but then at the end, we're sitting there drinking by ourselves in our car. So you know what I mean? So it's like, you know.
I promised myself I would never do that.
Yeah.
And then I'd go to the gas station, I'd get the pint, and I'd drive around. I'd just drive around drinking hot vodka. I'm like,
how many times have we done that?
Not this week,
Yeah.
but yes, good point.
But it's funny you say that, and it's like you're right. We knew what the right decision was, but we certainly didn't still take it. And I think the children, they pick up on that eventually. Even if they're young, they're like, okay, how many times did they ask you, please, hey, Dad, please, be at my 10-year-old birthday party, or
my God,
or we're gonna do
just
this,
gave me-
or why are you fighting with Mom, or why, and they know, and then like you said, it's those. Again, to your executive story, okay, why, I can make great decisions during the day, and you go home and like you said, you decide to drink.
Yeah, but you said this earlier, and it's really a key, is you're like, hey, I tried to figure this out, right? And I was making, like this dude was, I was making great decisions during the day with my frontal cortex, and I'm like, I'll figure this out. Like, this can't be hard. But one of my favorite phrases that I kick around is, you can't fix a problem with the same brain that created it, and I'm sitting there, so I'm like, guys, tonight, I've got this. I'm just going to drink beer. I'm going to have 2 Amstel Lights. 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to limit it to.
Or you're watching your weight.
Yeah. First,
Smart.
With the Amstel.
That's right.
first night, I have 2 Amstel Lights.
Oh, score.
I go to bed.
You got this
I
thing.
literally think I'm Superman.
Right, they like, okay, I got this handled. I got this
solved.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Second
How many
night,
times did I do
Second night, 3 Amstel Lights.
Right.
Okay. All right. Still
I'm like,
acceptable.
yeah, I'm like,
You're
come
in
on.
your lane.
It's okay.
I smack myself. Come on, man. Let's
At least I didn't do the hard stuff.
That's right.
Good.
let's tighten up. Third night, a handle. And I'm just like, I can't. And I'm not the dumbest guy, but I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not the dumbest guy, but I couldn't figure it out.
Right.
And just like you were saying earlier, man, it just blows my mind. But I'll tell you, I just had the opportunity. So I'm 10 years sober, 11 years since I really surrendered, and I'm spent some time on vacation with my kids, and I had Mikey knows this, Joe, I don't think he knows. I had 1.5 hour sunrise coffees with each one of my kids every day, one-on-one. Right.
Beautiful.
I mailed them an invitation ahead of time. We were in Greece. I mailed them an invitation ahead of time. And I'm really, my youngest, which is, she's 27 now, we have a relationship where I don't judge, I don't say anything, I just sit back and listen. I'm on the B team in the back of the bus, right? I just enjoy the ride. But she is opening up and sharing things and pain. And she's not doing it to be hurtful. She's sharing conversations she's having with a therapist. But, I wasn't present. I wasn't abusive. I was what you mentioned, Joe. Hey, Dad's supposed to be here. Dad must be hungover. He didn't come to my graduation. He didn't come to this.
Yep.
He didn't come to that. I'm getting a special award. He didn't come to that, right? And the pain that I caused and the hurt, I'm just starting to see now, right? And the beauty of the tools that I've learned, especially from you guys and here, is when she shares that stuff, I'm not defensive.
Right.
I just sit back and I own it. I'm like, a lot of times I don't even say I'm sorry. I just listen. I'm just there.
great.
I'm present. And she's like, man, she's like, that one time you were supposed to be there absolutely just crushed me. And you know what? Sissy and I just decided we're never going to talk to you again. You're just bad for us.
Right. Wow, that's heartbreaking.
And I can sit. Yeah, but you know what? I'm getting chills.
I know, me too.
I can take that punch in the face today.
Because you're having that that conversation over coffee.
And the sunrise is coming up, and we're in Greece. Kids early in their career don't have a lot of vacation time.
Right.
She took a week. She has 2 weeks. She took a week, right, to come out there, spend the money, and so I just sat back. What I learned is, hey, man, don't come back. Don't try to fix it.
Yeah, right.
Right. Don't try to say, hey, I'm sorry. No, just live with it. Own it.
Right.
And so when you say, when you said that about your kids, hey, you're not there. But no,
it's ironic you say that, because I maybe it is, again, character defects, right? It's, and I look at, and I'm notorious for minimizing I want to, the past comes up, and I just want to be like, all right, well, wait. I mean, again, I'm a guy. It's
Right,
like, okay, was it that bad?
Right, all right.
Give me a break. I was just a fall down alcoholic drunk. Okay.
Right.
But again,
Just that.
But I
to
didn't
me,
hit you.
yeah, right. I don't understand what's the big complaint with the wife and the children. But, but again, now us looking back at it with some days of sobriety behind us, you're right. You look at it, and that is a great philosophy to have, Glenn. That's a great story. That's a promise right there.
Right.
Is being able to, have a clear head and say, you know what, like you said, it's manning up and saying, hey, you know what, I was that guy. And unfortunately that is part of our story.
It is.
And unfortunate, we all, no matter whether you're an alcoholic or you're just an everyday Joe, we all have that story maybe that we're not so happy with or we're not so proud of. And like I get these, people in the program send these quotes and these daily. I mean, the
whole program's a quote.
It is, but I mean, you get it. And it's like, but one yesterday that came, and it's like I thought it'd be. It's like, okay, hey, just because the outside, the other person's life looks perfect,
right.
They went through some shit too, and it's like, and that's all of it, and that's. But I think what the beautiful take from this is you had coffee with them, and she was willing to come to Greece and willing to
Big
and
sign,
again
man.
and that's healing. That's healing is her talking about it, and I think my children, I know mine for sure, especially my oldest child, she's got some stuff that it's in here, and it's
Joe, is she in her 20s?
She is 23.
Okay.
So she's
Just trying to put some context on
it. Yeah, she is a girl, just graduated college. She's very smart. I'm super proud of her. And she's been through some shit.
Sure.
And she's gotten the brunt of my, disruptive alcoholism. And my younger daughter doesn't remember a lot of those days, which I'm truly blessed.
Right.
I'm lucky for that. But, she gets to hear the stories. But the older one...
I was just going to say that. Trust me. She knows.
She knows the stories.
She's seen the clips.
Yeah. The clips, the highlight reel. Yeah, absolutely. And, you're right. And that's the thing. But, I think that is, in like I've told her, I said, you need to, just like, Al-Anon helps the spouse or even the child of an alcoholic, right? I mean, it's like you need to heal yourself, and again, that is key factor. I think is talking about it, getting it out, and saying, hey, you hurt me. Hey, you did this. Hey, you did that.
Don't you think that they are sitting back like we? I'll speak for me, but I'm going to speak for both of you because I've been around you long enough. We pinch ourselves. Is this real? I mean, we're loving where we're at right now, right? Loving where we're
Absolutely.
at. Don't you think that there's a
Absolutely.
part of our daughters that love where we're at right now?
1,000%.
Right? They just
Yeah.
love where we're at.
1,000%. But I will also say, and I thought you were going here.
Yeah, they're waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I really think, I think that's
Always
over.
there.
No, I think
No?
it's over for my girls. But
Okay.
but Joe, you probably didn't hear the story, but I was like 4 years sober, and just starting to talk to my daughters, and my daughter was back from college, and I was supposed to have lunch with her at Oak Brook, right at noon, right. So, I went to church that morning, from 10:30 to 11:30, and I'm going to drive to Oak Brook, right, for lunch. It was like one of the first times we're connecting, right, and after 4 years or so. So I go to church, I come out of church, and I look at my phone. I left my phone in the car for church, which is rare. I usually have my phone everywhere. And I've got like 13 missed calls, 30 texts, emails.
Oh, no.
Dad, where are you? Dad, are you coming? Dad, are we still meeting for lunch? Dad, are we this? Dad, are we that? And it was probably my first time, right? Because the old Glenn would have said, what the fuck? I told you I was going to be there.
Right.
Stop.
Right.
What do you stop? But I sat in the car and I cried, man, on the phone with her. She goes, Dad, I just worried. I just wanted to have lunch with you.
Right.
Like they tried. So I'm getting chills, man. They tried so hard. And I mean, talk about PTSD.
Yeah.
Right. and I said, I'm sorry, honey. I said, I was in church. I left my phone in the car. I said, yeah, I can't wait to have lunch with you. You know, I didn't judge her like I
Right.
would have. You know, it would have been my world. You know, I sat in the back of the bus and just absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just took it in. And even now, like I went to see her last weekend, right?
Yeah.
And I leave Friday, 8 o'clock. I get the text, Dad, have you left yet?
Oh no.
You know? And I'm like, yeah, babe, I left. I left at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And she's like, awesome, can't wait to see you.
That's,
You know, so
yeah.
maybe that's just how she is, or maybe.
Well, and to that point, so here's a great. So the last couple months, I grew a beard like over the winter, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of just like, and I kept it neat and I kept it manicured, but it was nice, not
Right.
you know, the daily maintenance of it, right? So I grew a beard, and you know, again, my daughter, the oldest one, again, who's lived my alcoholism, she's away at school, you know, so she comes home one weekend and she sees, you know, my beard, and again, she goes to my wife. She's like, "What's going on with Dad?" Bingo. She relates that back to when I was drinking,
and you just wouldn't take care of yourself.
Bingo. You got it, Mikey. I wouldn't
God.
shave. I was just a
Yeah,
maintenance
sure.
thing in it. And she looks back to like that.
Yes.
Is
Isn't
dad
that
in a depression? Is dad in a funk? Is dad drinking?
Right.
And again, it
No,
it was just
that's GQ.
yeah, right.
That's a stud.
Yeah. Well, not in her eyes.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. But if you think about it, she's
you know,
23 today. 12 years ago, I mean, that's the 12-year-old girl.
That's what I mean.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that's
Right.
like just
Right.
surviving a day is tough enough for them, let alone chaos.
Exactly. Chaos
The
at home.
tornado.
You know, you go to
Alcohol
school and it's
tornado.
enough bullshit, right? You
Right.
said, right, trying to, you know,
Mean
the
girls.
kids. Kids in this world nowadays, like, and then you got to come home and fight, fight the good fight. And you're right. I mean, it's just a lot for a young kid to handle. And and I mean, and it's, and again, like we laugh about it. It's like, you know, does their guard ever really go down?
That's what I'm thinking.
Does it ever
Yeah,
really
I
go
don't
down?
think-
Yeah, but I think the key
maybe-
is,
you know,
I think the key is you just absorb, and you know what? Maybe it never does.
right.
Right? Maybe it never. You know, it's like being in a car accident, right? And you catch somebody out. You're always going to have that reactive response whenever that situation comes up again. But you know, I've got a sponsee, and he hasn't gotten it yet. You know, he's like
all of us.
Yeah,
like 99%
well, no,
of people.
but he's like, man, it's been enough time. They should.
Oh,
Why don't
yeah.
Why don't they?
Yeah.
Like I don't deserve that. I'm like, fuck you. Like you fucked up their lives
Right.
for
Right.
20 years, and you think 6 months of sobriety is going to change that muscle
They-
reflective reaction?
They should throw him a party, right?
And I'm like,
right.
dude, get out of yourself.
Right.
Like he's so into himself. I'm like, dude, fuck that, man. Like you should be sorry forever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. I think that I spend a lot of time trying to think of what they were thinking. And the program and
Good
you
luck.
guys have taught me
Yeah.
good luck.
Right.
Just do the next right thing, Michael. All I can do
Yeah.
is do the next right thing.
Be there and serve them.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
all I can do. And because they're going to process, as Joe said, they're going to process their healing in their own time, in their own way, or not, or whatever. I can't control that. What I can control is what I do today. I can be the GQ dad, you know, and be the guy for him. So
And I got so many thoughts just going through my head. My girls have told me, they have shared, you know what one of my best skills today in their mind is? Listening skills.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, Dad, you actually listen to us. Like,
Yeah.
you don't shove your opinion, you don't shove your expertise, your experience, you know, you actually just listen and absorb what we say.
And that's
Well, you know, like they say, the smartest man in the room is the quietest man in the room.
right.
2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yeah, and and it's so true. And again, like us, like most of us, you know, we're guys that, you know, are somewhat successful. You know, I mean, you don't have to be a homeless alcoholic. I mean,
Right.
there's guys, and Mokina is a perfect example. The people that are there
sure.
are very, very well established guys in
Right.
society, right? All of them from all walks. And you look at it and say, okay, well, most of them are type A personalities, guys that are used to used to calling the shots.
That's right.
And and again, so I mean, it's hard to adopt that. Okay, like, hey, maybe I don't know as much as I think I know, or maybe I'm going to sit back and just listen and take it all in, and that is a hard concept for a lot of people, and that is great. You learn that.
So as I'm thinking about what you said, I'm looking at you guys. I mean, we are guys that call the shots, right? Your job, my job, right? But when we come into the rooms of AA, like nobody would ever really know.
I don't know.
Like a lot of people don't know what I do during the day.
I don't know what Joe does.
Yeah,
to this day.
I do. Joe's a stud.
Joe knows I'm working and I'm trying to retire, but Joe doesn't really know what I do.
Joe's Warren Buffett Jr.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I prefer. So Joe, I don't think you've ever heard this. Mikey has. Jen has helped me in so many ways, and early on, like when I started to rebuild, like 4 years in, right? So this like 2018 or whatever, Jen, we were talking about the girls, and Jen says, "Look," she goes, "We're on the B team."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I love that.
What do you mean? I'm like,
I'm on the A. I'm an A team guy.
I'm the father.
I'm the A plus.
I'm a starter.
I'm the A plus team, right? Well,
Yeah.
it's funny you think about the father, because my daughter got married 4 years ago, and just 4 years ago, and I was wondering if I was even going to be invited or be father of the bride.
I mean, could you imagine, right?
I mean,
holy shit.
But you know what? Jen's like, hey, we're on the B team. I'm like, what does that mean? She goes, well, their mom gets all the best holidays, all the best spotlight, all the
She's
best this,
spot on.
the first picture,
Spot on.
the first everything. And I'm like, well, I don't like that. She goes, she goes, we'll do really good if we adopt it. We're on the B team. And so that's the B team.
God, that's a great philosophy.
Get out of the bus driver's seat, sit in the back of the bus, enjoy
Something
the
we're
ride.
not used to.
And I'm telling you what, first of all, I think my way is the best way, right?
Well,
obviously. So being in the back of the bus, you got a different bus driver, right? So a lot of my life, God's in the bus, but people don't understand that, right? So, but I let other people drive the bus, and people say, okay, we're going to go this way, and I'm in the back of the bus
Thinking.
and I'm thinking, well, good luck with that. That ain't going to turn out.
Right.
My way's better. If you go my way, it's going to work out.
And you're
a lot
almost
better.
hoping it doesn't work out. So I told you that.
So.
Right.
But then you know what? I'm amazed.
Yeah.
Like, their way works out better.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there looking at my life saying, how much of my life would have been better if I listened to other people?
Yeah, right.
Like, if I got out of my own ego. But I'm telling you, the B team, and now...
That's great.
And now that... So...
That's great.
Now she got married. My daughter got married, and she's got a mother-in-law, and now we have a granddaughter.
Now you're on the C team.
And that's what Jen said. And
that's funny.
And here's what I said: fine by me.
Just as long as I'm on the team.
I get invited.
Yeah.
And you know what she said? She said to me, she said, Dad, we love having you down to visit. She goes, you have zero pressure, zero expectations.
Yeah.
You just come along. Nothing matters. It doesn't matter what we do, where we go. It's just so cool. She goes, everybody else, we got to, clean, and we got to, organize, and
we have to have an itinerary.
She goes, Dad, you can sit on the floor with 2 hours and play with your grandbaby, and it's all like nothing matters. Yeah. And I'm like,
Brad, that's a great place to be, man. That is a great place to be.
You know,
C team.
A great place to be is in the coffee shop, but we got to come back next week because they're looking for our table.
Oh, you didn't set your timer, did you?
No, but they're waiting for our table. We got to come back next week. Joe, will you come back next week?
Absolutely. This is great.
Let's pick it up next week.
Love you, brother. Hey, thanks for coming
in. Thanks,
man.
Joe.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us for today's coffee chat. To contact the show, email us at podcast@Sober.Coffee. If you need immediate help, the AA hotline is 800-839-1686. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800-273-8255. Remember, Mike and Glenn are sharing their own journey on the path to recovery. Any suggestions, medical or otherwise, are their own experiences and should not be viewed as professional advice. See you next week, and remember, there is a solution.